very good day to you. Welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel. We're excited that you're here for our usual political conversation which I do hope you build this country. With Ruto's administration, how are you doing, sir?
Good.
How have you been?
Wonderful.
How have you been since the announcement of the mass action yesterday by Raila Odinga?
It's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think? What did you make of that announcement first, the speech after every reason for going for mass actions, telling people Ruto must go? What do you think about it?
I think my first reading of the whole thing, putting into consideration the style, I think Raila is not predictable. I think the other side must have been expecting Raila to behave in a certain way. I think he must have disappointed them.
For some people that I was going to say this thought it was an anticlimax because this is the day where most people would have thought we're going to announce this at Uhuru Park, we're going to have people at Uhuru Park, then we start in Nairobi moving outside. But decided let's start outside, come to Nairobi.
Yes, the people from State House thought, they were even ready, barricading State House, kind of roadblocks, and they thought Raila will move in that direction. He didn't. So that is the first thing that you note of the whole game. It's a new style.
What do you make of this style? Because as I said, for some it was more of an anticlimax. We were expecting crowds in Nairobi.
He did what the people didn't expect.
But what does this
What the people were expecting is exactly, I think, what the government was expecting. So you do the opposite.
But will this bring results? I think that is the question I think in my mind, because if he started mass action yesterday in CBD...
The question is this, one thing, there is a danger of sustainability. If you went to CBD and you get some 10,000 people and they are excited, what have you, 20,000, they are very excited, bah, 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 bah. So what happens after that? They'll go home. And that's what Ruto will be expecting. At some point they'll go home.
Oh. Sustainability, the long game. Now
so you must have the long game in mind. So I think he wants to work it in a style. When we get to the point where people are spilling into the streets, there must be a strategy to sustain it.
We at Nairobi Review appreciate the support you have given Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Through your financial support, we've been able to reach millions of Kenyans and produce quality content every single day. It hasn't been easy, and therefore we appreciate you for subscribing, sharing, and watching us every single day. Whether you're a long-term fan or just discovering this YouTube channel, your financial support can make a huge difference. You can M-Pesa us via 0768 074 076 or use till number 964 4543. That is 0768 074 076 or M-Pesa till number 964 4543. We highly appreciate your support.
From where you sit now, you've said this is playing the long game. They're expected to be in Nairobi. He said March 20th.
Yes.
He's calling it a date with destiny. What result do you think will that make in his mass action plan? Because when you look at the other side, as we've had these discussions, they're like just observing and not wanting a conversation now.
By pushing this thing to 20 years, you are doing two things. You are giving room to avert the crisis. You are believing your minimum, irreducible minimum can be met in one way or the other. Raila is a master of the game. I don't think he asked the sun and he will have nothing but the sun. He could be settling something lower than the moon. But you see, you're giving the government time, even to save face, do something without losing their face. But you have achieved what you wanted. Or alternatively, between now and then, he would have worked out strategies of sustaining it once it starts. Something else. Something is cooking in Nigeria.
Yeah.
There are things in Tunisia that have been happening. But more importantly, 20th of March is the day Julius Malema wants to bring South Africa to a standstill.
Oh.
So the world focus will be on Africa. So BBC, CNN will be moving. Let us move to a reporter in Nairobi. Now back to South Africa, Nigeria. It will be big. Now that creates a momentum. That creates international interest. That brings with it international pressure on Ruto.
Could you possibly believe he chose that date because of what is happening in South Africa?
It's possible. It's possible. I would do the same if I were the one. Yeah. And we said about it on this show, we said these things are coming all more or less at the same time. And it's one of the reasons I was saying if I had been Ruto, I would have avoided this thing. Because from yesterday they can see Raila is not the man they thought. You can't predict Raila.
You've said if...
And I said before one day I would not be surprised if he dons some military kind of uniform. Yesterday you saw it. People ask him, Manyora, you knew. Couldn't you advise him? No, I just said things. I think I was on NTV. Yeah, it's not that I know. Of course I talk to Raila, but I'm not his advisor. We don't talk about things that he does.
You tell me this though, if you say he has given Ruto time,
yes,
probably he is giving Ruto time, asking for the sun, but he knows he can settle for clouds. What does this mean about the cost though? Because for people it's like, don't give this man time. If he hasn't performed yet.
He will. Can you allow me to repeat what I've said in the past? Ruto will give in. He will lower the cost of living at zero option. I've told him, do it when you are standing, you'll do it on your knees. And I'm repeating it. Those who listen can go and tell him. You will do it. He will do it. He has no option. There is no option in the whole matter. Reducing UNGA to 100 is not an option.
But
reducing the cost of electricity is not an option.
If he settles,
reducing the cost of oil is not an option. But you know the gods can conspire against you. Look at the way the dollar is going. The gods are now conspiring against Ruto. We expect in the next few days, if not weeks, the price of oil will certainly go up. You know that, eh?
Yeah.
Every time the dollar goes up, our debt goes up in some way by some ratio of some dollars, of some shillings per whatever. So the things are, the Ukrainian war is not coming to an end. The impact of the Ukrainian war is now being felt. It's now putting pressure even on the dollar. And the grain pressure, international grain pressure, people have exhausted their resolves. And now the pressure of dwindling supplies from Russia and Ukraine is going to be felt worldwide. And therefore, there's nowhere you can run. There's nowhere to hide. For Ruto, there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. That's what I was saying. If you worked with your people, they will understand when they will need to tighten their belts. If Ruto reduced the price of oil, electricity, and UNGA, it will get to a point he will tell Kenyans, if we did anything beyond what I have done, the country will collapse. The economy will collapse. Let us bear each other. Let us bear the pain. And one way of bearing the pain is to address those things where the shilling goes. If a Kenyan has that rare shilling in the pocket, where does he send that shilling? On school fees. So government would move quickly to suspend school fees. Completely. You are not saying there is going to be free education like Raila. You say, for now, there will be no school fees charged on those who cannot afford. And you engage the people of Kenya in arriving at who can afford and who cannot afford. Otherwise, you do it play flat for everybody. Another area where we have a problem, the little money someone has, they take people to hospital. Government can now engage with foreign companies and foreign nations, China, India, and pour drugs in the country on long-term borrowing and flood all government facilities with medicine. Flood. Now that means the little shilling, the little money Kenyans have will not now go to medicine and school fees. You see, these guys are not thinking.
Yeah.
Why can't they employ me? I think for them.
That is what
Why can't they ask me to think for them?
Why is it so difficult?
I'm feeling so bad.
Why is it so difficult?
Jad, I'm annoyed.
Why is it so difficult?
I'm so annoyed. You're asking why is it not? Why they can't see this?
Why it's so difficult to just do what you say because you say it.
Because when people go to offices, they don't go to work for Kenya. They go to make money, cut deals. Every telephone call a minister is making is about a deal. It's about some project. It's about some money. They are not seeing the economy is collapsing. They are not seeing we shall all suffer. We are in a hole. They can't see it. They must think the way I'm thinking now. Where does that rare shilling a Kenyan has, where does it go? Hospital, medicine. Talk to pharmaceutical companies. Let them give you 10-year credit. We will pay in the next 5-6 years. Please. We will pay you. Let's give you a few foreign exchange because they also want foreign exchange. You flood all hospitals with medicine. Flooding. When you flood, I'm saying you flood government facilities. You flood them with medicine. There's no point of going to a private clinic.
So you say it is possible.
And then you waive school fees for everybody. Those two, my friend, Kenyans can survive. And then you lower taxes and levies on oil, on diesel, on petrol, on electricity. And then you rein in corruption. You say, you thieves, we are suspending stealing in this country. You'll resume your theft later, but for now, no. For now, no more theft. That way, we can go through this hardship. Look at the sun. We don't know when it's going to rain even. Who knows? It's defying even people where I come from by now, they're supposed to have planted. This is March what?
March is 9th, 10th.
10th? It's not normal. This thing could go for another 1 month without rainfall. And government is not behaving like they're seeing.
Tell me this, do you think Raila is serious with Ruto must go? Because if he is...
Yesterday he looked serious.
Why give Ruto time though? Because
I have told you...
He's playing the long game.
You play the long game, you study the game, you do the unpredictable, you become unpredictable. Because if he had behaved the way you are saying he should have behaved yesterday, because you are saying it was unclimax, that was predictable. When you do the predictable, when you come with the predictable, your enemy is prepared for you.
Oh.
So Ruto would have been prepared for him.
You didn't tell me that before.
Do you know what? I was at my club, I am a member of a small club called UKC. And there were some people we love, Kalenjin. I tell them, you people, you have ruled for too long. You still want to, and we just joke. So one of they called me to a table. And there's a lady there who said, you see, tell Raila there's nowhere he's going. Even if you went at State House. Do you see that? Do you know it can get to a point where you can even go to State House and you're allowed to enter? And then you have not become the president. So if you do the predictable, they can even open the gates for you of State House. You enter.
With your people, with your crowds.
You go to the swimming pool like Sri Lanka, dance, eat food in the fridge. Then are you the president?
It's still Ruto.
That was from a woman I looked at her and said, what?
True.
So if you do the predictable, they will match you. So you do the unpredictable. That's what Raila is doing.
What should be the goal for Ruto and Raila when you look at this mass action? Both of them, you've always said, they hold the country's peace at their hands. What should be their goals? I
am leading a movement. For now, I'm leading it. We are people getting together like-minded. I may not necessarily be the leader, but I've initiated it. Let me use that, but I've initiated it. When I went live on Monday last week, this week,
Monday.
Kenya is too good to go down. And we are thinking it's good to mobilize Kenyans into petitioning Ruto and Raila and telling them, this country is too good to go down. And I'm still appealing to Kenyans of goodwill, of reason, to join us in petitioning these people and to support us. Talking of support, these kind of things are very involving. And one of the reasons why people who have good intentions may not go far is the resources you need. Remember, we are going live on Wednesday and our system just broke down.
Yes. By the way, we apologize for that.
We apologize to the viewers. We shall do it when you do next live show,
Yes.
I think today evening or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been appealing to people to join us and even extend some resources to us. When you contribute some little money to this thing, you are not giving necessarily me. You are trying to get on board on the national conversation to save this country. You may give your 10,000 and you think you've just given it, but it go a long way. Talking of that, somebody called Joe Hista Daktari sent us some little money. I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And the others who have given us little money here and there, we really appreciate them. The thing we need to do as a people is to pump sense into Ruto and Raila. That this country doesn't belong to them. We've given them the power to be leaders, but we will not surrender this country to them. It's not theirs. This is our country. So long as we leave this in the hands of Raila and Ruto, we will pay for it. We will suffer for it.
So
and for Ruto, my advice is simple. Very simple. And I've given him an exam and leaked the exam.
Yeah.
Several here. This exam is leaked. Pass this exam.
Yeah.
Talk to Raila. Talk to
Raila.
This is not a handshake. It's not weakness. Just talk to Raila. But even before you talk to Raila, do something about the biting cost of living. It is within your power. The president has the power to reduce the price of unga today to 100. Reduce electricity, petrol, diesel. But first, he will have to moderate his engagement with the World Bank and IMF.
And we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning into a political conversation. Continue speaking about what is happening. We call it a movement, call it observation. Just looking at how Raila and Ruto play their politics and the goal they have for this country. Till we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.